Out of the Blue. Epi 11, The Empty Scarecrow. This is a story about Frances, a white dove who believes fear must be fought, managed, or overcome before peace can return. In a field guarded by a terrifying scarecrow, she discovers that fear loses its power when belief is withdrawn from what was never true. Frances saw the scarecrow before she saw the field. It stood on a hill beneath a stormy sky. Black coat, crooked hat, long wooden arms, a painted face with enormous eyes. Frances stopped midair. No, she turned around. Then another thought came. You cannot avoid fear forever. Frances groaned. Fine. She circled the field. The scarecrow seemed to follow her with its eyes. She flew higher, still watching. She dipped lower, still watching. Frances landed behind a stone wall. I need a strategy. A field mouse named Pip popped out from between two rocks. For what? That. Pip looked toward the scarecrow. Oh, Harold. It has a name? Apparently. Frances whispered. Is it dangerous? Pip shrugged. To corn, maybe. Frances stared at him. That thing is terrifying. Then perhaps you should attack it. Frances blinked. You think? No. Pip disappeared into the grass. Frances considered her options. She could fly at the scarecrow. She could knock off its hat. She could gather other birds and prove they were stronger. She could spend weeks training herself not to be afraid. Instead, she became still. What if fear does not need defeating? The thought unsettled her. If she stopped fighting fear, wouldn't fear win? A gust of wind moved through the field. The scarecrow's sleeve flapped. Frances jumped. There, it moved! Pip's voice came from the grass. The wind moved it. Frances flew a little closer. Her heart beat faster. The face looked terrible. The eyes looked accusing. The crooked mouth seemed almost alive. She stopped. Fear said, turn back. Another voice, quiet and gentle, said, look again. Frances moved closer. Nothing happened. Closer still. The black coat was torn cloth. The hands were sticks. The eyes were painted circles. Frances landed on the scarecrow's shoulder. She waited. Nothing. She tapped its head, hollow. Frances burst out laughing. There's nobody in here. Pip emerged. You've discovered Harold's secret. Frances laughed harder. All that circling, all those strategies, all that preparation. She had been preparing to defeat an empty coat. Then something deeper settled in. Fear had felt real because she believed its interpretation. The scarecrow itself had never supplied the meaning. Her mind had. She looked across the field. A rabbit came out of hiding. Then 2 sparrows. Then a crow landed boldly on Harold's hat. Frances called, You knew? The crow shrugged. I checked. That answer stayed with her. She had spent so much time trying to change how fear felt without questioning what made it fearful. What if fear survived through belief? Not through truth, not through power, through belief. Frances remembered other moments. A delayed message she had turned into rejection. A dark cloud she had turned into disaster. A mistake she had turned into identity. A bodily sensation she had turned into catastrophe. An uncertain future she had turned into danger. The forms differed. The pattern was the same. Fear borrowed meaning, then defended the meaning it borrowed. Frances closed her eyes. She did not command fear to leave. She did not chant over it. She did not force herself to feel brave. She simply withdrew her agreement. I do not know what this means. Show me what is true. The tension softened. Not because Frances had become more powerful than fear, because fear had no power of its own. Pip climbed onto the stone wall. So what happens to the scarecrow now? Frances smiled. Nothing. Excellent plan. It can stay. The wind lifted Harold's sleeve again. Frances did not jump. The field had not changed. The scarecrow had not changed. But the meaning had. Later that afternoon, a young rabbit approached the hill trembling. It watches me. Frances almost said, Don't be afraid. Instead, she remembered how unhelpful that could sound. She landed beside him. Would you like to look at it with me? They walked closer. The rabbit stopped several times. Frances did not rush him. Eventually, he touched the wooden foot. It's just wood. And cloth. And paint. He looked inside the coat. It's empty. Frances smiled. Nothing needed repair. The miracle was not a dramatic event. No scarecrow vanished in a flash. No field turned golden. A false interpretation had simply lost support. And where fear was no longer being believed, something else became obvious. The sky, the grass, the sunlight, the quiet mind. Light had not arrived after darkness was defeated. It had been present underneath the mistake. As evening came, Frances perched on Harold's hat. The crow joined her. Pip sat below. The scarecrow stretched its wooden arms across the field, completely harmless, completely empty. Frances looked toward the blue opening between the clouds. She finally understood. She did not have to fight darkness. She did not have to command light. She only had to stop defending what was false. And in the absence of fear, what she was had never gone anywhere. Out of the blue, may we sing, rest, and dance our way home together.